Introduction. Ava stared at her phone for the third time in 10 minutes, her heart racing as she waited for her partner's reply to a simple "good morning" text. The familiar knot in her stomach tightened with each passing minute. Did I say something wrong yesterday? Is he losing interest? Maybe he's already planning how to break up with me. By 9:47 a.m., she had crafted and deleted 17 different follow-up messages, each one more desperate than the last. Her hands were shaking, her chest felt tight, and that all-too-familiar voice in her head was spiraling into worst-case scenarios. This wasn't just about a text message, this was her life, day after day, relationship after relationship. Sound familiar? What Ava didn't know in that moment of panic was that her brain was literally hijacking her ability to experience love. The same neural pathways that once protected her as a child were now sabotaging every chance at the secure, lasting relationship she desperately craved. But here's what changed everything for her, and what can change everything for you too. 6 months later, when her phone buzzed with a delayed response from her partner, Ava glanced at it, smiled, and went back to her morning routine without a second thought. No racing heart. No catastrophic thinking. No desperate need for immediate validation. She had rewired her brain for secure love, and the transformation was nothing short of miraculous. This moment of panic over a delayed response became the catalyst for her complete transformation from anxious attachment to secure love. And this same revolutionary approach can be yours too. Your brain has been hijacking your love life. This book exists for one revolutionary purpose: to provide you with a brain-based approach to healing anxious attachment that delivers real, lasting results in months rather than years. Unlike traditional approaches that focus on endlessly analyzing your past or slowly building insight through years of therapy, this method targets the actual neurological patterns that create relationship anxiety at their source. Your anxious attachment isn't a character flaw, a sign of weakness, or something you need to get over. It's a specific pattern of neural firing that was created to protect you, but is now preventing you from experiencing the love you deserve. The breakthrough research in neuroscience has shown us that these patterns can be rapidly rewired using targeted techniques that literally reshape your brain's response to relationships. This book will teach you how to interrupt the anxious attachment cycle at the neurological level, stopping the panic before it starts. Build new neural pathways that support secure, confident love, creating automatic responses of security instead of fear. Transform your relationship with yourself and others from the inside out, developing unshakable self-worth that doesn't depend on external validation. Create lasting change that doesn't require constant maintenance or vigilance, achieving freedom that becomes your new default setting. The goal isn't just to manage your anxiety. It's to eliminate the root cause and replace it with genuine security and self-worth that radiates from within. This revolution is for. This book is written specifically for adults who recognize themselves in the exhausting cycle of anxious attachment. You might be someone who constantly seeks reassurance from your partner, but never feels truly secure, analyzes every text and tone for signs of rejection, or finds yourself becoming clingy when you feel disconnected from someone you care about. In relationships, you might experience intense fear when your partner needs space or time with others. Sabotage good relationships because you can't believe someone could truly love you. Find yourself changing your entire personality to avoid conflict or abandonment. Feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly monitoring your partner's mood. Need constant reassurance, but never actually feel reassured when you get it. While dating, you might become immediately attached to potential partners, often scaring them away. Interpret normal dating behavior as rejection or complete disinterest. Experience devastating heartbreak even after short-term connections. Attract partners who are emotionally unavailable or inconsistent. Feel like you have to perform or be perfect to deserve love. When single, you might feel incomplete or fundamentally worthless without a romantic relationship. Spend excessive time and energy seeking validation through dating apps or social media. Believe that finding the right person will finally make you happy and complete. Struggle with crushing loneliness, even when surrounded by friends and family. Find your entire sense of self-worth fluctuating based on romantic attention, regardless of your relationship status. You're tired of living in constant fear of abandonment. You're exhausted by the mental gymnastics of trying to read between the lines in every interaction, looking for hidden meanings and secret messages that probably don't exist. You want to break free from the endless cycle of seeking external validation to feel worthy of love and acceptance. Most importantly, you're ready to do the work to transform these patterns, but you want an approach that actually works without taking decades to see real results. This book is for those who are ready to challenge everything they've been told about healing attachment wounds and are committed to a faster, more effective path to secure love. Why this approach changes everything. While bookstore shelves are filled with relationship advice and attachment theory explanations, this book takes a fundamentally different approach that sets it apart from everything else available. Most resources will tell you to practice patience, develop coping strategies, or spend years in therapy slowly unpacking your childhood experiences. This book does something completely different. Brain-based, not just mind-based. Most attachment resources focus on understanding your patterns or developing coping strategies for when anxiety strikes. This book goes much deeper, targeting the actual neural networks that create anxious attachment in the first place. Using cutting-edge neuroscience research, you'll learn to literally rewire your brain's automatic response to relationships. We're not just changing your thoughts, we're changing the physical structure of your neural pathways so that security becomes your brain's default setting. Rapid transformation, not gradual improvement. Traditional therapy often suggests that healing attachment wounds takes years or even decades of slow, painful work. This approach challenges that timeline completely and proves it wrong. By working directly with your nervous system and using specific neuroplasticity techniques, you can experience significant shifts in weeks and complete transformation in months. The brain's ability to change is far more rapid and dramatic than we've been led to believe by outdated therapeutic models. Root cause resolution, not symptom management. Instead of teaching you how to cope with anxious attachment or manage your triggers when they arise, this book shows you how to eliminate the triggers entirely. Rather than learning breathing exercises for when panic strikes, you'll discover how to prevent the panic from occurring in the first place. We're not putting a Band-Aid on the problem or teaching you to live with it, we're performing precise surgery on the source. Action-oriented, not analysis-focused. While understanding your past can provide valuable context, this book prioritizes forward movement over backward analysis. You'll spend significantly more time rewiring your future than rehashing your past experiences or trying to figure out exactly where everything went wrong. Each chapter includes specific, practical exercises designed to create immediate neurological changes that you can feel and measure. Scientifically backed, not theory-based. Every single technique and strategy in this book is grounded in peer-reviewed neuroscience research from leading universities and research institutions. You're not getting someone's personal opinion about relationships or untested theories. You're getting proven methods for changing your brain that have been validated in laboratory settings and clinical trials with real people experiencing real transformations. Holistic integration. This approach recognizes that anxious attachment affects every single area of your life, not just romantic relationships. You'll learn how to build unshakable self-worth that transforms your relationship with yourself, your friendships, your family dynamics, your career confidence, and your entire life experience. When you heal anxious attachment at the root, everything else naturally falls into place. Your complete transformation journey. This book will take you on a carefully structured journey from anxious attachment to secure love, with each chapter building strategically on the previous one to create comprehensive, lasting transformation that touches every aspect of your life. Phase 1: Revolutionary Understanding. Your journey begins by discovering exactly how anxious attachment works in your brain. Not just the psychological theory you might have read about before, but the actual neurological processes that create your day-to-day experience of relationship anxiety and fear. This isn't abstract concept or fluffy self-help advice. It's concrete science that will help you understand why you've struggled for so long and why lasting change has felt impossible until now. You'll learn about the attachment lie that's been keeping you stuck in cycles of pain, discover the anxiety addiction you didn't know you had, and understand how your self-worth has been systematically stolen from you by well-meaning but misguided approaches to healing. Phase 2: Building your foundation. Next, you'll learn how to become emotionally bulletproof without becoming cold or disconnected from others. This phase focuses on developing genuine self-worth that doesn't fluctuate based on external circumstances, learning to transform your triggers at their source, and mastering communication skills that naturally create secure, loving connections. You'll discover the trigger transformation protocol that stops anxiety before it starts, learn how to speak secure love into existence through revolutionary communication techniques, and develop the ability to choose partners from a place of security rather than desperation or fear. Phase 3: Creating secure love. The final phase of your transformation involves learning how to create and maintain secure, lasting relationships while maintaining your newfound independence and self-worth. You'll explore the intimacy paradox, how getting closer to others actually requires needing them less, and discover how to build connections that enhance your life rather than define it. This phase includes your complete 90-day neural revolution protocol, designed to solidify your new neural pathways and make security your permanent default setting, plus strategies for leading the love revolution in your own life and inspiring others around you. Real-world proof throughout. Every chapter includes detailed case studies of real individuals who have used these exact methods to transform their attachment style completely. You'll see how Ian went from desperate and clingy to confidently secure in just 4 months. How Ava broke a lifelong pattern of attracting emotionally unavailable partners and found lasting love, and how Ian transformed his crushing fear of abandonment into genuine excitement about intimate connection. Measurable milestones. Each chapter includes practical exercises, real-world applications, and specific milestones so you can track your progress and celebrate your victories along the way. You'll know exactly where you are in the process and what to expect next. Your new life starts right here. The moment you opened this book, you took the first step toward revolutionizing your entire capacity for love and connection. But reading about transformation and actually experiencing it are two completely different things. This book will only change your life if you're willing to challenge everything you think you know about healing attachment wounds and commit fully to the process ahead. This isn't going to be a passive reading experience where you nod along with interesting concepts and hope things magically get better on their own. This is an active, intensive program that requires your full participation, commitment, and willingness to do things differently than you've ever done them before. You'll be asked to complete exercises that might feel uncomfortable at first, challenge beliefs you've held for years or even decades, and take actions that go completely against your current programming and instincts. But here's what I promise you in return. If you follow this program exactly as outlined, if you complete every exercise with genuine commitment and apply every technique in your real life, you will experience a transformation that will revolutionize not just your relationships, but your entire experience of being alive. Your choice right now. You have a choice right now that will determine the entire trajectory of your future. You can continue living in the exhausting cycle of relationship anxiety, seeking validation from others to feel worthy, analyzing every interaction for hidden threats, and repeating the same painful patterns that have kept you stuck for years. Or you can decide that today is the day everything changes. Your secure, confident, authentically loving future is waiting for you just beyond these pages. It's not a matter of whether you can achieve this transformation. The neuroscience proves that your brain is absolutely capable of these changes. The only question is whether you're ready to do the work to claim the life you've always deserved, Are you ready to break free from anxious attachment forever and step into the secure love that's been waiting for you? Your revolution begins with the next page. 1. The attachment lie that's keeping you stuck. Breaking free from childhood's grip. Charlotte sat in her therapist's office for the 47th time, once again dissecting her relationship with her emotionally unavailable father. This is why you're anxious in relationships, her therapist explained. Until you heal this childhood wound, you'll keep attracting the same patterns. 3 years and $15,000 later, she was still checking her boyfriend's phone and spiraling into panic when he didn't text back immediately. The belief that your childhood experiences permanently wire your brain for anxious attachment is one of the most damaging myths in modern psychology. While early experiences do matter, they don't sentence you to a lifetime of relationship anxiety. This deterministic view keeps millions of people trapped in endless cycles of analysis without transformation. The childhood trap that keeps you stuck. The attachment industry has built a billion-dollar business on the idea that you must excavate and heal every childhood wound before you can feel secure in love. This approach often re-traumatizes people by forcing them to relive painful memories, while providing no practical tools for breaking free from anxious patterns in real time. Here's what the research actually shows. Your brain remains changeable throughout your entire life, not just in early childhood. Many people with difficult childhoods develop secure attachment styles naturally. Focusing exclusively on the past prevents you from addressing present moment patterns that actually drive your anxiety. Neuroplasticity allows your brain to form new neural pathways at any age. Natalie spent 4 years in therapy exploring how her mother's criticism shaped her need for constant reassurance in relationships. She could recite every painful memory and understood exactly why she felt insecure. Yet she still found herself texting her partner 15 times a day and interpreting his delayed responses as signs of rejection. Understanding why doesn't equal freedom. The neuroscience of present moment change. Your brain operates on a simple principle: what you practice becomes automatic. Every time you engage in anxious behaviors like checking your partner's social media, analyzing their tone of voice for hidden meanings, or seeking constant reassurance, you strengthen those neural pathways. The more you practice anxiety, the better you become at it. This happens regardless of your childhood experiences. Your brain doesn't care if your anxiety started because your parents divorced when you were 8 or because you felt neglected as a toddler. What matters is what you're doing right now, today, in this moment. The revolutionary truth is that you can rewire your attachment patterns by changing your present moment responses. When you stop feeding the anxious neural networks with repetitive worried thoughts and clingy behaviors, those pathways literally begin to weaken. Meanwhile, new secure pathways grow stronger each time you choose calm responses over panicked reactions. The mythology of childhood determinism. Traditional attachment theory suggests that your early relationships with caregivers create internal working models that guide all future relationships. This framework implies that if you had inconsistent or harmful caregiving, you're doomed to struggle with secure attachment unless you spend years processing those early experiences. This perspective creates several problems. Analysis paralysis. People become so focused on understanding their past that they never develop skills for the present. Victim identity. The past becomes an excuse for current anxious behaviors rather than a starting point for growth. Therapy dependency. Clients believe they need professional help to access their own capacity for change. Hopelessness. The message that childhood wounds run too deep creates learned helplessness. Lucas discovered this firsthand when his therapist told him his anxious attachment stemmed from his father's military deployment during his early years. He spent 2 years exploring abandonment themes while his relationship anxiety worsened. His girlfriend grew frustrated with his constant need for validation and eventually left, seemingly confirming his worst fears about abandonment. The real problem wasn't his childhood experiences. It was his present moment habit of interpreting neutral situations through an anxious lens. The secure attachment paradox. Here's something that might surprise you. Many people with secure attachment styles experience difficult childhoods. Research shows that about 30% of securely attached adults had insecure relationships with their primary caregivers. These individuals developed what researchers call earned security. They didn't spend years in therapy processing childhood trauma. Instead, they learned to regulate their emotions, communicate their needs clearly, and maintain their sense of self within relationships. They practiced secure behaviors until those behaviors became natural. This reveals a crucial truth. Secure attachment is a skill set, not a personality trait determined by your past. You can learn these skills at any age, regardless of your childhood experiences. Breaking the childhood determinism spell. The first step toward freedom is recognizing that your childhood doesn't control your present moment choices. Every anxious behavior you engage in today is a choice, even if it feels automatic. You're not a victim of your past, you're the author of your future. This doesn't mean dismissing or minimizing difficult childhood experiences. Those experiences matter, and they may have taught you survival strategies that no longer serve you. However, understanding this context is different from believing you're forever limited by it. Consider these empowering truths. Your brain creates new neural pathways every day based on your current thoughts and behaviors. Secure attachment behaviors can be learned through practice, not just therapy. Many anxiously attached people become some of the most securely attached individuals once they understand how to change their patterns. Your past informs your starting point, but doesn't determine your destination. The present moment revolution. Real change happens when you shift your focus from past wounds to present moment patterns. Instead of asking, "Why do I feel this way?" start asking, "What can I do differently right now?" Natalie made this shift after years of unsuccessful therapy focused on her childhood. She began noticing her anxious thoughts as they arose and choosing different responses. When her partner seemed distant, instead of spiraling into analysis about his feelings, she focused on her own emotional regulation. Instead of seeking reassurance, she practiced self-soothing. Within months, her relationship transformed, not because she healed childhood wounds, but because she changed her present moment responses. Setting the stage for transformation. As we move forward in this book, we'll explore how your anxious patterns operate in the present moment and how to disrupt them. We'll uncover the hidden addiction to anxiety that keeps you stuck in cycles of worry and relief. Most importantly, you'll learn practical tools for rewiring your brain toward security without spending years excavating your past. Your childhood doesn't have to define your relationships. Your future can be completely different from your past. The power to change lies not in understanding where your anxiety came from, but in choosing where it goes from here. The revolution begins now in this moment, with this choice to believe that change is possible, regardless of where you started. When therapy misses attachment wounds. Robert spent 5 years in psychodynamic therapy, exploring how his mother's depression affected his ability to trust. He could write a dissertation on his attachment patterns, but he still felt his stomach drop every time his partner seemed distant. His therapist kept digging deeper into his past, while his present-day relationships continued to crumble. Traditional therapy approaches anxious attachment like an archaeological dig. The deeper you go, the more answers you'll find. But this backward-looking methodology often strengthens the very neural pathways that create anxiety by repeatedly activating trauma responses without providing immediate relief or practical solutions. The therapy trap that keeps you coming back. The mental health industry has created a perfect storm of dependency by treating anxious attachment as a deep-seated psychological disorder that requires years of careful excavation. This approach keeps clients returning week after week, month after month, often without significant improvement in their actual relationship experiences. Here's what traditional therapy gets wrong about anxious attachment. Talk therapy alone doesn't rewire the nervous system patterns that drive anxious attachment. Insight without action creates intellectual understanding, but no behavioral change. The therapeutic relationship itself can become another source of anxious attachment if progress stalls. Endless exploration of childhood wounds can re-traumatize rather than heal. Many therapists are trained to believe that slow, gradual change is the only real change, dismissing rapid transformation techniques as superficial. This keeps clients dependent on weekly sessions for years, while their relationship anxiety continues to sabotage their happiness and drain their energy. The insight illusion. Sarah could explain exactly why she felt triggered when her boyfriend didn't call her back immediately. She understood that her father's emotional unavailability created her fear of abandonment. She had mapped out every connection between her childhood experiences and her current relationship patterns. But understanding why you feel anxious doesn't make the anxiety disappear. The insight illusion convinces people that awareness equals healing. Therapists often spend session after session helping clients understand their patterns without teaching them how to interrupt those patterns in real time. This creates what researchers call therapeutic dependency. Clients become addicted to the process of understanding rather than the outcome of changing. Sarah spent 3 years gaining insights about her attachment style, while her relationships continued to follow the same destructive patterns. She would analyze her triggers with her therapist on Tuesday, then spend Wednesday through Monday acting out the same anxious behaviors that destroyed her connections with partners. The re-traumatization cycle. Traditional therapies focus on processing past traumas, can actually strengthen anxious attachment patterns. Each time you revisit painful childhood memories in detail, your nervous system doesn't distinguish between past and present. Your brain treats the memory as if it's happening now, activating the same stress responses that created your anxious patterns in the first place. This process can create a re-traumatization cycle where therapy sessions themselves become sources of anxiety. Clients leave sessions feeling more activated and emotionally raw than when they arrived. While some temporary emotional release might occur, the underlying nervous system patterns that drive anxious attachment remain unchanged. Marcus discovered this after 2 years of trauma-focused therapy. His therapist insisted that he needed to fully process his abandonment trauma before he could experience secure attachment. Each session left him feeling emotionally drained and more convinced that his past had permanently damaged his ability to love and be loved. The irony is that this approach often creates the very outcome it's trying to prevent, a deeper sense of being broken and unfixable. The missing piece, nervous system regulation. What traditional therapy misses is that anxious attachment is primarily a nervous system issue, not just a psychological one. Your attachment patterns live in your autonomic nervous system, the part of your brain that operates below conscious awareness and controls your fight, flight, or freeze responses. When you feel triggered in a relationship, your nervous system activates these survival responses faster than your conscious mind can process what's happening. You might find yourself checking your partner's phone, sending multiple texts, or creating conflict before you even realize you're feeling insecure. No amount of talking about these patterns will change them if you don't address the nervous system activation that drives them. This is why people can understand their triggers perfectly, but still find themselves unable to stop their anxious behaviors when they're activated. The speed of real change. The therapy industry has convinced people that meaningful change takes years, but neuroscience tells a different story. Your brain can form new neural pathways within days or weeks when you practice new behaviors consistently. The key is focusing on present-moment interventions rather than past-focused analysis. Jennifer experienced this firsthand when she switched from traditional talk therapy to a nervous system-based approach. Instead of spending sessions analyzing why she felt triggered, she learned specific techniques for regulating her nervous system in real time. Within 6 weeks, she was responding to relationship challenges with calm clarity instead of anxious reactivity. The difference wasn't that Jennifer suddenly healed all her childhood wounds. She learned to interrupt her anxious patterns before they took over her behavior. The dependency problem. Traditional therapy creates subtle dependency by positioning the therapist as the expert who holds the keys to your healing.